I think it's important to include this. This is actually, in talking about this, Parent of the Week. Here we go. You're teaching them critical race theory. You had my child fill out a form as to what sins they're guilty of because someone in their lineage may have owned slaves. People are waking up. It's not just about critical race theory. Parents have taken too inactive of a role, particularly when it relates to public education.
Yes.
I think right now, if you send your kids to public school, personally, I think you're doing your child a great disservice in the United States of America right now. Do whatever you got to do to send them to anything other than public school. And if you have to send them to public school, you better be involved with everything because you are handing your child off for 8 hours a day to, now we know, not necessarily heroes, blue-haired angry feminists who refuse to give your kid a cupcake because he's a straight white male.
Yeah.
This is what's going on.
It's less education and more indoctrination in a lot of these schools.
Also,
not every teacher, of course.
I would say maybe 30% education, 70% indoctrination, and 200% aggravation.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. That was my Johnny Cochran.
I like it, yeah. Yeah. Good job, John.
Education, indoctrination, it's not affirmation.
You know what's really interesting, too? It's not just that parents have realized what their kids are being taught. It's they realize that the school boards are accountable to them. They realize the power that they now have over school boards, and they're showing up at these meetings, and they're starting to push back.
They're realizing it, but you know who doesn't? The school board.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't understand. They, again,
it's
just
a rude
They call
awakening.
the cops on them.
Just like the left has been so unaccountable for so long from the media, teachers, they thought, well, no one will question. We're the heroes.
We've got a union.
We have our own teacher signal.
Yeah.
It's just closed for pedagogical day because Alfred, that's this. What are we going to do? Work 11 months a year? 10?
No.
Are you out of your mind, sir? 9 sounds like a good number.
I thought it was amazing, the guy that was taken down at the Loudoun County, Virginia PTA meeting. Perfect takedown by the cops in that instance with the parent. Yeah, perfect takedown. Not so much with the guys in the streets.
No, not so much.
Last summer.
No, not so much. No, it depends on it's context driven.
Of course. He was yelling.
So here is a father yelling. I don't know where this. Do we know where this took place? Someone can let me know.
Sure.
At the local school board about what they're teaching the children. And not only that, but this, I believe the school board tried to stop parents from even being allowed to criticize. Here you go.
I'm quoting, just a minute, do not talk over me. This is my comment, not your comment. I'm quoting to you now from the United States Supreme Court 1964 case, New York Times versus Sullivan. This is constitutional case law in this country, and I'm quoting you from the U.S. Supreme Court. The judges wrote that this nation is founded on the, quote, profound national commitment to the principle that debate on public issues shall be uninhibited, robust, and wide open, and that it may well include vehement, caustic, and sometimes unpleasantly sharp attacks on government and public officials. That's constitutional case law in this nation. I don't have to be nice to you. Nobody behind me has to be nice to you. If you don't like living in the United States of America, then you can all move to Russia, Cuba, or China. This is the First Amendment.
Put that guy on our team. I don't care about his fruity accent.
I will caution you, solicitor. There is a video camera to my left. If you edit this tape, then you're going to have a big legal problem on your hands.
Now it's a sex tape.
Because my right to critique
Involuntary.
your fascism, which is what this is constitutionally protected. There are emails, public record emails, in which the Director of Equity is lobbying and advocating for public comment to be censored in this school district. And you know what? You know what? Lobbying for it, advocating for it. We've got the school board president saying she'll do better at hitting the mute button in blatant violation of the Constitution for her lobbying and her advocacy of unconstitutional censorship. I want you, the school board, to terminate the employment of Dr. Charissa Gibson with immediate effect.
Hear, hear.
Oh, he ain't done. He goes on.
I know, he goes on. We just can't run the
No, I know.
Yeah,
You know what he said after that? He
on.
goes, by the way, as soon as you've done that and as soon as she's gone, every one of you must
All of you.
resign immediately.
Yeah. And by the way, you know what's important about this? People always say when you talk about, censorship on YouTube or on Twitter, they go, censorship is only government. First off, that's not really true. Technically, you can censor somebody anywhere. It doesn't have to be an action of government. Corporate censorship is a thing. The issue there is, of course, the cozy relationship between big tech and government and the legal protections afforded. However, it still is corporate censorship. But they go, oh, well, why don't you go start your own big tech? Okay. Does it apply when you're talking about a public education system? and they're trying to prevent criticism against, because guess what? That's still supported. In other words, there is no case where they would be, well, okay, you know what, you're right. No, they try and say, there you go, conservatives decrying censorship again. What would you call it? When members of school boards and teachers try to remove the ability for parents of the children attending said schools, the ability to criticize. What would you call it? Is that no longer censorship? What would you call it? When you're going to spy on Americans right now if they're considered right-wing extremists, deeming them domestic terrorists through arbitrary rules that likely can be decided by members of the deep state, meaning unelected officials who share similar views to David Renfield Chipman. In other words, at what point do you say it's censorship?
Yeah. Never.
When Donald Trump calls something fake news? Honestly, when do you say... Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, even though they enjoy the legal protections of being a public platform, a utility, right? Not being a publisher, it's not censorship. School board meeting, it's not censorship. You don't have the right to be rude. No, as a matter of fact, the First Amendment is specifically the right to be rude. So my question to people on the left, including classical liberals who don't want to actually acknowledge that they're conservatives now, what would you consider censorship? Does it have to be the government beating down your door and putting a ball gag on your mouth? Which, by the way, could be confused for your weekly appointment with a Lincoln Project committee member, is 9 years old, and you can hear by the way that she's speaking that this is clearly the frustrations being vented by a 9-year-old. It's one of the few instances to me that comes across as authentic, and I will vote her president.
I looked up onto the wall and saw a BLM poster and an Amanda Gorman poster. In case you don't know who that chick is, she's some girl who did a poem at Biden's so-called inauguration. I was so mad. I went up to my principal to tell him about the BLM poster and that I wanted it down. He said it's not coming down. I was like, yeah, it is, because the school board said on May 25th, no BLM or politics in school. He said that's weird. They were the ones who made them. I said there should be no BLM in schools, period. Does not matter the color you make the posters and the font you use. We all understand the meaning. It is a political message about getting rid of police officers, rioting, burning buildings down while King Governor Welch just sits on his throne. We all know. Changing the font or the color of posters does not change the meaning. I am 9 years old and I know that.
I love how she looks exactly like Greta Thunberg.
Yeah.
Only, unlike Greta, who had to kind of, use her window of opportunity of a year where it was YouTube's policy where you couldn't criticize her. She's got like, what
lots
does she have?
of time.
She has 9 left. She's got 9 left.
She's throwing down the gauntlet.
Please, sweetheart, just use it. Criticize everybody. They can't say anything back. They're not allowed. It's big tech policy.
They get removed.
I love how she's like, they said they're just not going to take it down. I was like, yeah, you are.
I was like, yes.
Contrast that with Greta Thunberg. You sit on your throne of visions of endless profits and capitalism, when really we should ascertain. Shut up. You know what? I guess it was sort of self-fulfilling because no one cares anymore.
How dare you?
Whoa, wow.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.